And so if I ever get into trouble around Belgorod, I can maybe call my friend to help me. And these become more important with the campaign aspects that you're developing slowly. Save those changes. I am a mocking oaf that won't sober on any situation. I'm a friend of Sheriff Chester of the Baron of Ishmael of Belgorod. I went to level 1, and I'm going to start checking all of the 9 ignobles again. They're just a little bit harder now. At level 0, they're pretty much gimmies. At level 1, they're almost gimmies. I've already picked up 3 longboat swaggering and the demigod ability, and I have got blade biting and hellish, and I have got different skills, and I got these traits, and I get 1 make roll. And I am not viciously wounded. I promise I'll fix that. But let's see what happens when you go up a level. I'm going to go into the fundamentals book here, and if you're keeping score, I've been in 3 different battles. One of them I skirmished on land, another battle where I defeated that ogreish creature, and then I defeated the illusionist. When you go up levels in advancement, here's the definition of different ignobles.
There's always a third way. Many people in my life have given me choices, and all of them were left, right, yes, no, or now, later. The world is more complicated. Not for me, but for those who are not me. Some of the rowers had begun to shave parts of their scalps. I believe Reginn was the first to do so. Reduces the lice, the third Remages informed me. A few minutes kneeling before any gentleman would do the same. Should Reginn be set free? His debt was paid, but Fafnir's treachery, his dead brother, was still fresh on my mind. Hirth advised to set Reginn loose ashore. He doesn't have any skills. Barely an alehound singing in taverns for his supper and next pass out drunk. The rowing had made him fit and sober, but for how long? He seemed in a tenuous state, almost peculiar, unable to sit still. I had never been in debt. I never owed anyone anything, except perhaps loyalty. My father started as a sailor and eventually became boat captain. The tales of his raids needed no embellishment. I would unlock Reginn. He shall work with Valentin, cleaning after the horse and milking the cow we recently took aboard. Maybe he can learn to make cheese. Compassion may be rewarded. Otherwise, what could he do? What could anyone do to harm me? I had faced magical manipulation and survived. I had fought the Ogre Man, led my warriors in an attack on a fort, and helped a noble restore his wits. All rather fine as a start.
Skills and leveling. I went from conscript, just basically a debt payer, a drag, to an own it, a free oarsman. I get 1 skill and 1 make roll, and I've already marked that 1 make roll. Now 1 skill. Is there any other benefit, trait benefits for going up in level? Other task resolution here was that 7 out of order and 12 to make Baron Ishmael my friend. I am going to look at my trait strategic benefits and go through them. At each level advancement, the player may select 1 personal swaggering. So I got 1 personal swaggering that I pick up.
Hirth came to me to say that his ring changed color. He saw the same at the keep of Baron Ishmael, as the illusionist Lewis conjured. Could mean we were actively watched by magic. I dismissed his worry, though I spoke too soon. The enemy we all feared struck. Illness. I could not keep anything down, even the boat's best ale. Was this the last of that illusionist's mischief? I would survive by simple grit and fortitude. Some of the boat did not. I soon found out that Reginn was responsible. He was using the same pail to dump horse dung as to draw water for the cook. Was it malicious or incompetence? He did not enjoy his labors. Would he prefer to be back pulling an oar? He pled for mercy. Valentin said he would watch him more closely. He did not imagine the Northmen to be so simple-minded. Hirth said the ship definitely would be better off with Reginn marooned.
Keep him or release him. A binary choice.
I unsheathed Ófóti and cleft the man's skull from tonsura to shoulder blades, 1 crushing blow. The gasps of those watching were followed by an even louder silence. The dead Reginn transformed into a goblin. Did the true man escape or become a victim? Toss this waste of inhuman flesh overboard. Took a while before the sailors of second cohorts collectively complied. Some of them might be remembering that we were originally sent 3 goblins that we turned away. Where were the other 2? Both could be disguised among the Genelin or Deshi.
I'm not clever. I am energetic. It grants the Fury Pip. At level 5, the trait will also allow the Command Pip, but it doesn't give any extra bonuses. The Methodical, I get that extra longboat swaggering every mission I start. I can also cancel the Death mod with Methodical. And Rugged ignores his first vicious wound. Use that already. All characters have just the 1 wound, except for this guy. He's got the 2, and then he can get killed. Canceling first injury. But I only picked up, because I am bold, 1 extra personal swaggering and 1 skill. Now, I'm still under the conditions where I can only get certain skills. I am bold, so I can pick up nobility skills. I'm energetic, I can pick up legion skills. I'm methodical and rugged, so I can get monastic and farming skills. Let me go to my character sheet here, and I said I picked up 1 personal swaggering from all of this. I have an L and an M swaggering. I have a number of swaggering from Longboat. I have a demigod here. 1 personal swaggering because I'm bold. Crushing blow, gee. Wow, that sounds like a good one to have, especially with my hellish biting blade. I'll pick up personal swaggering of crushing blow, and then I'm going to get a skill. Let me go back to here and look at my skills really quick. Apothecary, engineer, linguist. I already have that mariner, spy. Interesting. Grit and fortitude. I'm going to take grit and fortitude. Part of that demi-human, that survivalist that I am, I'm going to have grit fortitude, and that would be my 1 skill for going up a level.
Belgorod draws danger. Hoary-haired, willful corrupter, Frankish, obedient fallen. We stopped to hunt and collect water. A group of begging monks passed. Seemed harmless, except the haircuts of the group reminded me of the tonsura style worn by the goblin imposter. Coincidence? Hardly. Hairstyle is the easiest way to show kinship, heritage, and fealty, both subtle and obvious, more glaring than any banner. When I confronted the pilgrims, they said that the bearing of their scalp was a show of piety. Since when? One of the group finally stated that the hair of all priests of the region changed under the influence of St. Hebert, the Vizier of Belgorod. Belgorod was glad that town was behind us. I had not met this saint, this Vizier of Belgorod, one of Baron Ishmael's retainers. Sheriff Chester mentioned Hebert acted strangely, as magical folk often do. I would send a rider back to my ally informing him that his lord's vizier has started a movement, canonized as a living saint. That witchery alone might get him burned. This cult could be in league with my Windcaller. Otherwise, why should the hairstyle appear in my own crew and now among wandering wastrels, strangers who had never met?
And that is how you go up a level. Here comes my next encounter in Phase C. I still have that negative quest pip. It'd be nice to put that to bed. And this is going to be an encounter number 7. And bad things happen with a 7. Good things and bad things. Isn't that the best way to roleplay, with good things and bad things? And when you look at the flowchart, is it in phase? It is a 7, so it's in phase. So what is that 7? The 7 is going to represent sort of a retrograde action. It's a Pyrrhic victory and a setback for the group. The phase is returned to B.
As we approached the next township, Hearth and I looked at the banners dumbfounded. Varna? Hearth wanted to set ashore, verify our position. There could be campaign action, changing of political guards on watchtowers. No, I assured him we were indeed outside of Varna. We had no friends there. Head south. Reverse course, I ordered. Some thought I was finally reconciled to giving up on Ivan's mission. Prudent to let some believe that. Just as before, the Windcaller was confusing our true location. I had lived this trick before, riding Uller south from the ruins and reaching eventually my boat heading north. There was no understanding to reconcile the confusion of our sight, yet I could tell by the sea temperature that we were moving correctly. The creeks in outflow were slowing, growing colder as inland they froze. Winter was growing as the longboat cruised south. Such mischief could not be maintained indefinitely. Soon enough our senses righted. The sky resolved after a fortnight. Riding chariots arcing east to west, Mani chased Saul, returning our wits to that of our course.
Now both were in sync.
A slight delay, but back toward Cherson.
Somehow I got lost up this river, swept out by storms, and I need to go back and finish the travel between Varna and Belgorod. Magic is probably at work here. pushed by foul winds of the rival. Should I generate the rival now? I have not generated the rival yet. Quests, and we're going to flip a card for the rival. Here comes my card. 5 of coins. It is inverted. Find out that my rival, it's a barber. Sure, he cuts hair, but he's also sort of a fantasy surgeon and mostly dealing with hypochondriacs. So there's a lord in Cherson, and let's call him Boris. And he also has influence, demon barber of Fleet Street, influence over the ship craftsman.
It was hard to explain our return to the county of Baron Ishmael. The Lord was feeling better and returned to his hobby of falconry. I briefly stopped ashore to visit Sheriff Chester. Hirth said he too would be sleeping in sheets this night. Chester became the one warning me. Vizier Hebert had been talking to the breeze on the parapets. A name was stated. Boris the Barber. I shite you not. He may be your Windcaller. I met him years before. He used magic as a surgeon. Boris Alfred rose to prominence treating hair loss. Chester removed the hairpiece he wore, saying he was not going to pay for tricks. Now Vizier Hebert recruited followers for Boris Alfred. All found kinship, clipping and shaving parts of their scalps in tonsura fashion. That I had witnessed already.
Special haircut so they can feel like they're all part of the same gang. Here comes my encounters in Phase B. More later.